Ayo. So a while back, I asked you guys on an Instagram poll, just questions about my new album, The Irrelevant Necessities. This album's been out for almost a month now, which is kind of crazy to think about. I'm proud of how it turned out. It's been a long journey. To make this album happen. I was really excited to share it with you guys. So seeing that the album's been out for a little bit and you guys have listened to it, I thought I'd get you guys to ask your questions and inquiries that you had about the album, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Alright, first question. Why? Why not? What inspired you to create this album? There wasn't really a core inspiration for this album starting off. I'd just been writing a lot of songs for over the span of 3 years. So some of these songs on the album I started in 2019, but it was just a matter of the recording equipment I had at the time. I was just waiting for the chance to buy the right equipment to start recording. So I used those 3 years of getting money as well to write 3 years worth of songs, and then I just picked the best songs out of that 3 years worth of writing. How long did it take you to produce this art? I don't know if you're talking about the album art or just calling the album artwork, which is kind of cool either way. But the album art was actually pretty simple to make. I had the idea of what the album art would look like for actually quite a while. One day I just had a photo shoot against a blank wall, did some green screening effects, and it was a lot simpler to make, but the product was really great. The album itself, I started recording in January of 2022 and started producing in September, mainly focusing on Charcoal Rose because that was the first single that came out. But I produced the rest of the songs starting in December of 2022. Did you know, in Man in Luxury, the airplane sound, the one that goes shoo at the very beginning of the song, was actually me recording the hum and kind of white noise sound of the guitar amplifier. I dialed that sound up to the max in volume and then added a bunch of effects to it. Like I think I added a phaser effects and high pass filters and stuff. And yeah. This next question asks, if it can, will it? It might, but if it will, it certainly can. I don't know what I'm saying. What inspired you to do a themed series of songs having a story prolong the album? I was inspired by many concept albums such as American Idiot by Green Day, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd that contain a story or meaning spread throughout the album. For those of you who don't know, The Irrelevant Necessities is loosely focused on the story of a character who is bored with ordinary life and then gets hooked in by the idealistic industry of fame and fortune. He becomes obsessed with that reckless partying and that all-out lifestyle, but is thrown out and abandoned when he's used up by that sort of lifestyle. After the character comes crashing down, he calls out for help to return back to his normal life. At the end of the album, he's really a new person. He's changed, but he's perseverant with the courage to continue into the unknown of life. The name Irrelevant Necessity itself is describing that lifestyle of materialistic desires that can seem really attractive and idyllic but aren't ultimately significant. I also just wanted to figure out a way to order the track list. So, fun fact, the first track, So the Show Begins, actually references a bunch of my favorite artists in the second verse, such as Elvis Presley, Prince, Queen, Brian May, specifically apart from Queen, and Eddie Van Halen. I actually have different takes of the second verse where I reference other artists such as Paul McCartney and also just Freddie Mercury. This next question asks, what inspired each song? So I wrote So the Show Begins solely because I wanted an opener to the album and also an opening song for live performances as well. The whole basis of Man in Luxury, their lyrics, was to make a parody of rich life and fast cars, but in a rock song. Typical came about from me just playing around with an A chord, going down, 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 and then lifting the first finger of the A major chord on the guitar, and then playing the D string, down, 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 down. I think A major has to be one of my favorite keys to play in. I wrote Schranz because I wanted to write a ballad. I wrote This Is Not a Ballad because I didn't want to write a ballad. Well, I wanted to mix a piano ballad with a really energetic rock song, and also I wanted the challenge of writing a song in third person because most songs in the modern day are usually first person. They're usually talking you or me, that kind of stuff. But I just wanted the challenge of writing lyrics from an outsider's perspective in third person. Rush Me to the Hospital was written as a fusion of hard rock and hip-hop elements. Charcoal Rose was written mainly around the pandemic, so being in the unknown and the unexpected drastic changes in life that kind of thing. Last question of the video, which one is your favorite song? The thing is, I've had different favorite songs, usually depending on which one I'm working on at the time. But I'd have to say my top 3 at the moment are Charcoal Rose, This Is Not a Ballad, and Typical. Did you know in This Is Not a Ballad, there is a piano part on the high keys at 2 minutes and 15 seconds into the song. And that's actually my cat jumping on the piano. That's not me playing. I was just recording and he just jumped on the piano keys. And it was in the right key, so I decided to include it in the song. Anyway, that's all the questions we have for today in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and go check out the Irrelevant Necessities. Maybe I'll do more kind of Q&A stuff. If you have any extra questions, just comment down below and I will answer them. Go check out the Irrelevant Necessities now.